What do you make of his chances?
Well, Michael Carbajal has been successful versus the Cubans and others because he puts relentless pressure on it. He doesn't let his opponent get set up. The Cuban style really needs to begin with the jab, and Michael puts on such tremendous pressure that the Cubans like Rogelio Marcelo have not been able to get set. Marcelo is unknown in this country. He does have some international experience. He's won 3 international events last year in Europe.
Well, he's determined to show that he can beat Carbajal where Juan Torres could not do so. He's the one that Carbajal beat back in December in Santa Clara, Cuba. Here are the rules of amateur boxing. The white portion of the glove is the area that counts. The referee has 3 commands. They are stop, box, and break, the international language. They use the 8 count, and the scoring is done on the 20-point must system. 3 ringside judges. The referee doesn't score. The judges today, 1 from Cuba, 1 from the U.S., and 1 from 3 neutral countries. Canada, along with the Dominican Republic, are involved in the role of neutrals here. And so the judging has not been that bad, although Americans were disappointed earlier with some results they thought might have gone their way. There's obviously a partisan crowd here in Atlantic City this afternoon. Carbajal is 21 years of age. Marcelo is 22. He was the runner-up to Torres in the Cuban Nationals, and a big challenge facing him here because Carbajal's reputation precedes it.
Carbajal has those 2 wins over the world champion, Juan Torres, and so the Cubans decided, let's send up Marcelo and see if he has a style as a southpaw that's better for beating a Michael Carbajal.
These are little guys, just 106 pounds. Arthur Johnson, not much bigger at 112, still to come, along with a giant of a man by comparison, Andrew Maynard, the light heavyweight, with so much promise.
Just saw the right hand of Michael Carbajal. That's his main weapon. He scores points with his left jab, but he scores with power with his right hand.
Look how tentative the Cuban is with his right hand, not very authoritative.
Just as I said that, Michael put a nice, strong, powerful left jab on Marcelo.
Cuban obviously not intent on hanging around very long. He's getting in and out very quickly, too quickly against Carbajal.
But he's made Michael a little bit tentative here. For Michael Carbajal to be successful, he must be first. He must be aggressive. He must get off first. And right now, that movement, maybe the southpaw style, is giving Carbajal a little bit of trouble.
This Cuban team is stacked with southpaws, Alex.
That shouldn't be as much of a problem for an amateur than it is for a pro. There's so many more southpaws than the amateurs. There you saw a classic Cuban jab, right jab in this case, in and out. And there again, Marcelo tried it.
Well, the second half of brisk action, most of it the motoring by Carbajal in pursuit of Marcelo.
A little bit of showboating there for Marcelo. That's inexperience. Alcides Segura in his corner, in the Cuban corner, as he has been for the last quarter century, will get rid of that. They don't like showboating on the Cuban team.
The referee who does not score the fight is Asdrubal Arranz from Cuba. Judges in this one from the United States, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic.
Good left lead there by Marcelo. In and out, picking his spots. Again, not letting Carbajal get set up and get into his flow. There was a good right hand. And 2 good body punches, and another by Carbajal.
Now Carbajal with a series of blows, taking it to him in the Cuban corner.
Low left there by Carbajal, a little bit below the belt.
And a caution for holding from the Cuban referee. That's the first sustained attack that Carbajal has gotten off against Marcelo.
Just on a first impression, Don, Marcelo does 2 things a little bit unusual. 1, he carries his hands very low for a Cuban, and 2, he looks to be not as well conditioned as we're used to seeing Cuban athletes. He's sucking for wind right now, and it's just the first round.
You assume they're all superbly conditioned, don't you, having watched them over the years? That may not always be the case. Again, he's trying to stay away from Carbajal. Tentative in the last second. 21-year-old Michael Carbajal of Phoenix, Arizona, after a good first round, takes it to his Cuban opponent, Marcelo, here in the second round. Just 3 rounds in amateur boxing, so when you get behind, there's not an awful lot of time to catch up.
They do tend to use that 20-point must system with greater flexibility, though, Don. You can score a 2017, 2016, even a 2016 round in amateur boxing. You climb back into it in a hurry. I thought there wasn't much in that first round. I didn't think either fighter dominated. There you saw the evenness of the bout. Two men just landing punches simultaneously.
I thought the one sustained attack by Carbajal might have swung around in his favor when he pinned him against the ropes for about 20 seconds or more. He tries to contain him here, but the slippery Marcelo continues to get away.
And that's just what the Cuban corner told Marcelo to do in between rounds. Stick and move. Don't stay around. And they want him to work to the body a little bit more.
And he's got a loose lace or two that'll attend to in the Cuban corner.
No te muevas loco, no te muevas tanto, Marcelo. Okay.
The Cubans paying a return visit to the United States after the dual meet in Santa Clara, Cuba, we talked about earlier back in December when the Cubans won 11-1. They've won all 14 dual meets so far. They lead this one 7-1 this afternoon in Atlantic City. Carbajal getting off very, very quickly again. And there is Manuel.
Danny Carbajal.
And Danny, the brother, they both trained Michael Carbajal, as you saw earlier.
Michael's just waiting a little bit too long to let his hands go. Trying to be a little bit too perfect. He told us yesterday, Don, as you remember, that he was trying to put a little bit more boxing skill into his game plan. Didn't want to just be a winging aggressor. He may be thinking a little bit too much here.
Halfway in round two.
And he's also chasing Marcelo. He's not cutting the ring off. He's letting Marcelo get him off balance.
As we say, he only did contain him for a sustained attack once back in the first round, but he's been chasing him, as you say. Michael, a very unassuming young man, has no master plan. He just uses the old cliche, one fight at a time. That's his approach to it as he builds toward the Olympic Games. But he is in a lighter weight class where the host country, the Koreans in particular, are going to be very, very tough if he gets that far.
Good right hand follow there by Michael Carbajal. If you can't be first, you better be last. He finished that exchange.
You bet. How much of the judging in amateur boxing is contained to the final 30 seconds of the round?
Well, I think that, people remember what they most recently seen. I think that's a human factor, and very difficult to judge. A competent judge will not let it affect them. He'll judge the totality of the bout. And the great referee Arthur McCann had a system where he divided the bout into thirds and scored it by who won each minute of each round. Good combination there by Michael Carbajal. And Carbajal ignoring the Cuban referee and not getting a caution for it. I'm surprised.
Well, the Cuban is cautioned for a low head, for ducking under. A dozen seconds now as they tick down in the second round. And again, as was the case late in round one, an impressive finish to this round by American Michael Carbajal. Stay with us. Round three, and so far, Rogelio Marcelo of Cuba has not fared much better against Michael Carbajal than Torres, his countryman, did back in December when Michael won the only bout for the United States in Santa Clara. Marcelo simply, as the referee attains to a loose piece of tape on the Cuban's glove,
and you see the Cuban
able to contain him.
You see the Cuban's mouthpiece come out right away. He needs air. He has been in a little bit of trouble in terms of his condition since the first round. And every little break like that, the shoelace, the tape, helps Marcelo.
Well, he's had European experience and Caribbean experience internationally, but not to the extent of Torres.
Caution there for slapping rather than hitting with the white portion. You saw that right-handed slap and another one there by... See, that punch landed by the Cuban, but it was not with the white portion of the glove, and he should have been cautioned for it.
Roundhouse for the inside portion, you're right.
Boy, he wound up with a bolo punch there.
This Cuban referee in particular very lax. Of course, some dominate or tend to, overshadowing the action, but this man's very laid back. Of course, the United States team has a secret weapon now. So much of a secret. Sugar Ray Leonard, special advisor to them, and he's been urging them on all day long.
His advice there was punch him, Mike. Yeah. He hasn't become as good as a coach yet as he was as a fighter.
But he's a great motivator. I mean, he can really get you cranked up.
Yeah, the kids love to have him around.
His biggest message for the United States team is develop spirit and show it as a team.
To put on the kind of aggression we talked about at the top of the fight, Michael Carbajal must be in tremendous condition. It's halfway through the final round. And the Cuban seems to have a little bit the better of it right now in terms of conditioning. He's landing more punches.
Now, that may sound strange for a 3-round bout, but it's so intense that you can run out of gas pretty easily even in the 3rd round.
It's the pace of amateur boxing that is so exhausting. They could never fight it. Good right-hand lead by Carbajal. And a flailing amateurish, for an amateur fighter, left hand by Marcelo.
His inexperience is showing, and the talents of Carbajal are shining through late in the bout. Cuban missing with both hands, seems to be constantly off balance now. Takes a solid right from Carbajal. Cuban continues to paw with the jab and then offer a soft right to follow it. So Carbajal may have the Americans well on their way to a second victory here at Atlantic City today. Less than 30 seconds to go in the final round.
Anytime you see that much mouthpiece from a boxer, you know he's tired.
He's short of air.
Again, Marcelo spending too much time on the ropes, and Michael Carbajal making hay.
And making it impressively. Just seconds to go and an obvious Carbajal victory. Impressive indeed. ABC's Wide World of Sports will return after this message and a word from our local station. Did Michael Carbajal win that bout as it looked very much to us he did? We're going to find out now from the decision here at ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest with a 2-1 score in the red corner. Rogelio.
Oh boy. Here we go. I could swear I'm back in Paris watching Pernell Whitaker.
Well, I don't think that was that bad a robbery. I mean, I don't think Michael Carbajal, I thought he waited too long. I thought he did enough to win it by 1 point. I had it winning by 1 point.
I had it by more than that, but
he just never dominated the fight. The fight was up for grabs.
Well, I really thought the Cuban was much too tentative, and Carbajal got the short end of the stick. So still just one victory for the United States, and they'll go on now to